Hi, this is Jamie with Antelope Beads, and I'm here to talk about these fun metal crimp spacers that we have available in our huge line of findings and components to go with the Regaliz and Euro leathers. You can see some designs here using these crimp spacers in them. The spacers come in a 2mm size, a 5mm size, and actually the textured design comes in a couple of larger pieces too that are meant just to be used as spacers. And here I want to show you how these smaller pieces can be used as spacers or as crimps to keep your beads in place. Here's one design where they're used simply as spacers, and I've allowed them to move all around and make a little bit of noise as you wear them. Here's another design where they're used as spacers. The cool thing about these is because they're only 2mm wide, it's great if you just want to add a tiny bit of metal or design to your look. And like I said before, another cool thing about these is you can crimp them down onto the Regaliz or Euro leathers in order to keep other beads in place. In this design, we've used the antique brass 2mm crimp rings to space out as well as to keep these enameled C-coop beads in place. And then here's an example of the 10mm flat Euro leather where we've used both the 2mm and the 5mm crimp spacers to separate these cool oval glass beads, and also their nice square edges when you crimp the spacers down become part of the design. And let's show you how easy it is to crimp them. First I'll show you on a piece of the Regaliz leather. Here's a piece I have here. And I'm going to string my piece on. I can use either chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, or possibly round nose, though it wouldn't be as easy, but if those were all you had around, I'm sure you could make it work. In this case, I have my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to carefully set this crimp spacer as well as the leather inside my pliers, and I'm going to squeeze real gently. I want to make sure that it doesn't twist around in my hands while I'm squeezing. So that's why I want to do it slowly and gently to make sure that I don't pierce the leather or anything like that. Now you can see I've crimped it down a little bit, but there's still space there and that can still move. I've done that intentionally as I don't want to do one hard, fast crimp. I want to go around a few times and just slowly crimp it from side to side to get it to flatten onto the leather. That way I know that I can keep it in the spot I want it on the leather, and I won't accidentally flatten it in the wrong spot and mar the leather. If you happen to have nylon jaw pliers, such as these, you can also use these to crimp down onto the leather and get it just a little bit tighter. As I said before, you can also use the 5mm rings to crimp down. Those you just want to be a little bit more careful with. Because they are wider, there is a slight possibility they'll crack. So that's just another reason why you want to squeeze them and crimp down slowly and gently. For the for the 10mm flat leather, here's an example. You're going to do the same thing, where you're going to place it on the leather and use your pliers to crimp down. Because this leather's flat, it's a little bit easier to get around there and work around the leather. But again, I want to work at squeezing it a few different times, alternating sides rather than just squeezing it once. As I get it down, I kind of work from the center out to make sure it's flattened. In this case, I'm purposely going all the way to the end and flattening the end just because I want that kind of squared off look. Whereas on the Regaliz, I left it more of a rounded look on the ends. So again, these are just some fun little spacer crimp pieces that you can use with the Regaliz leather as well as the flat leathers. And you can find many designs using them at antelopebeads.com, as well as lots of other how-to videos and fun things on our site. Thank you.